The establishment of the INCGiving Project was centered around strengthening the bond between local congregations of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ and the communities they serve. Now, when those communities hit a point of crisis, the INCGiving Project does not shy away. Rather, it wades through disasters alongside their neighbors. I'm Lois Paula. Welcome to the INCGiving Show. In Alderson, West Virginia, dozens of people lost their lives when flash floods swelled local rivers and overran neighborhoods. In the immediate aftermath, we found INCGiving Project volunteers doing their best at emergency shelters and staging areas, lending their hands and labors where it was needed the most.
With the increasing reports of natural disasters all over the world, it seems that no place is safe from calamity. Members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ in the District of Mid-Atlantic gathered here in Alderson, West Virginia, where just weeks ago harsh floods came through the area.
The death toll from flooding in West Virginia is at least 20. Severe thunderstorms dumped 9 inches of rain, washing out homes and roads.
We had a devastating flash flood that swelled our river here in town.
It came up on us fast. There was a flood here, and it flooded a lot of the places here in town.
Even though the floodwaters have receded, residents of this area still have a long road to recovery.
We are in Alderson, West Virginia, in the Alderson High School Gymnasium. And this seems to have served as a staging area, evacuation center for the people around here who were victims of the flood.
There was a lot of people. We had 125 people here the first night, and they stayed anywhere from 3 days to a week.
What we're doing today is that we're moving some of the excess supplies that they have, moving them to storage. It's been a few weeks now since the flood, but there are still a lot of evidences and remnants of the logistics that went on through here. And what we're trying to do right now is to help them ease the cleaning up process a little bit.
Brethren from Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina have traveled far to lend a helping hand to the victims of the floods here in West Virginia.
Approximately 300 miles was traveled by our brethren. We left around 2 a.m. this morning for those who drove in, and they have been here all day to help in the efforts to clean up and help rebuild the communities here.
Today I actually helped with the storage of all the extra supplies they had, water, bleach, etc., and to help with the cleanup around the communities. It actually felt pretty great to help a community going through a disaster.
And the little that you can do speaks volumes to the people who are living around here. And in fact, some of them we were able to speak to, and they are really thankful, for the effort that we are doing, because they know that we came from long distances.
It feels great because we've had a lot of volunteers, and y'all been good to us, and I enjoyed having you.
When I see people spend their own money, and most importantly their time and effort, to come to a new place, meet and understand the hardships that people go through, it's really enlightening and so humbling.
The rainfall has subsided, but the hearts of the brethren are overflowing as they help a community. community in need.
Now, also in the American South, a much larger, more devastating flood hit the state of Louisiana. INCGiving Project volunteers from around the southeastern seaboard banded together to gather emergency relief aid packages and have them sent to the heart of the disaster, Baton Rouge.
Many people say they have never experienced anything this devastating before. As I understand it, Mother Nature is not cooperating and there is more rain in the forecast.
It's devastating more communities in its path.
Welcome to the INCGiving Show. I'm Lois Paula Returbin. What's being called the Louisiana flood of 2016 has so far damaged over 60,000 homes. Over 30,000 people were evacuated from disaster areas, and 110,000 people have requested immediate help from the American federal government. 13 people have lost their lives. Now, rain has continued in the forecast. The catastrophic flood is now considered the worst natural disaster to strike the United States since Hurricane Sandy 4 years ago. And reflecting upon all the damage in the region, we praise God for, as we reported first here on INC Media, all members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ have remained safe in Louisiana. Their homes may have experienced severe damage, but the love of the brotherhood has been extremely heartwarming, and the rented place of worship in Baton Rouge, Louisiana remains intact and safe from damage. Now, to aid in the relief efforts of the region, members of the Church of Christ throughout the southeastern United States have united to gather non-perishable goods and basic household and hygiene items to distribute to residents in the region. We spoke yesterday with Marisol Sullivan, who gave us an update from one of the numerous packing sites throughout the southeastern seaboard, which have been preparing for the last week for this project. Here's her report.
I'm here in Charleston, South Carolina, and as you can see, the brethren are busy preparing the bags that will go to our fellow men in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The brethren are so thankful that we have this opportunity to help. And with the help of our Almighty God, we were able to collect even more than we originally planned for. Tonight, all of these bags will be packed into vans that will travel to Jacksonville, Florida tomorrow morning to join the rest of the goods collected from over 20 sites throughout the district of Southeastern Seaboard. And from Jacksonville, Florida, all of those goods will make an over 10-hour-long journey to their final destination. In every bag, the brethren have put multiple canned goods, personal hygiene products, things to keep warm, water, and especially pamphlets to be able to not only share help for their personal needs, but also to share with them the words of God. The brethren are so excited to be able to be only one of the sites in the many states of the southeastern seaboard that are sending help to our fellow men in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Reporting from Charleston, South Carolina, I'm Sister Marisol Sullivan. Back to you, Sister Lois Paula.
Thank you, Marisol. And that was just one site of approximately 20 as mentioned. The items have been crossing state lines to make their way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we hear now from Audrey Rizal, who joins us from another packing site in Jacksonville, Florida, as they prepare the items for transport and make the drive to the distribution center in Louisiana.
Thank you, Sister Lois. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida, where over 1,000 bags will be now making their way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Some of our brethren have gathered together to prepare for their 10-hour-long drive, delivering the bags that have been prepared by the brethren. These bags have come from over 20 sites all over the southeastern seaboard, and this is just a portion of them. Some of the other bags have been donated directly from the locales and will be making their way via plane to the location at Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The families here are gathered together, thankful to have the opportunity to give back to our fellow men in the best way that we know. Stay tuned with us here in the southeastern seaboard for more updates throughout the weekend.
Thank you so much, Audrey. Now, as they mentioned, this initial activity is only the first of a few INCGiving projects lined up to aid in the ongoing relief efforts. We understand recovery will be long and difficult for the residents and all the communities affected, but it won't be a journey they'll have to do on their own. Stay tuned on incgiving.org and on social media at INC Media News and at INCGiving Project for this developing story. From all of us here in our Los Angeles studios, and from all the INC members around the world, our hearts are with the families and community members in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. When we come back, we'll meet the volunteers who took those aid packages door to door in Baton Rouge. and the recipients whose lives were forever changed. Stay tuned. We called them the Hope Brigade. These volunteers that we're about to meet brought with them aid packages to the victims of the historic Louisiana floods. But they also brought smiles, hugs, reassurances, prayers, and the most basic and most humane action of knocking on doors and asking, "Are you okay?"
We're in the city now of Baton Rouge. It's a beautiful city. Oh my gosh, so much history here. So much history, and just the detail and the ornateness of the buildings and the architecture and the structure of things. Very modern city. But they still preserve characteristics of that old time, and it's deceiving for them and for me because it doesn't look ravaged in the parts that we've been in.
It looks like you're in the middle of a war zone. And you can imagine how long it's going to take them. I mean, a normal sized trash truck would go from here maybe to that third house and it's going to be full. It's going to take several trips. They haven't even started to pick anything up yet.
Because of the flooding, and what it is the boards at the bottom sides of them have to be dried, and inside of the walls, the insulation have to be pulled out. If it don't be pulled out, then that's what forms mold. Everybody is doing pretty much the same thing.
It's just so undescribable. It's something that just shook my life. It took it and turned it upside down, and I've been through things, but nothing like this. This is actually life-changing.
There's over 31 inches of rainfall in the areas in a period of 3 days. There's no drainage system on this earth that's equipped to handle that much water in that short a period of time. People went to bed one night thinking it's just going to rain through the night. Next morning, they get out of bed, they're standing in 2 feet water and rising.
And first of all, we'd like to thank the Almighty God foremost for blessing and for guiding all of us safely here to be able to conduct this activity. So the plan is we'll distribute as many as we can. We have about 1,500 relief bags.
Just received our instructions, and now we're unloading the truck, which has all the parcels ready to be distributed to the area around here, as more than 120 delegates from all over the southeastern seaboard region of the country have gathered here today to be volunteers, to get out there and give messages of hope to the neighbors. So as you can see, they're getting the parcels distributed into their cars, and our teams are ready to get out there and knock on doors to let neighbors know, hey, here's a smile, here's a helping hand, and here's something that could help you in this time.
I talked to over there, and first thing he asked me was what church I came from, and I said Church of Christ, and he said I gave him a little bit of hope that there's a chance to get back from this kind of calamity that his family went through. And so it feels good to be able to give them a little bit of hope, even through just a little bit of good deed, I'd say. No matter how devastated they have been and affected by the calamity, they'll still push through this. You can see them smiling, greeting us and everything. So I think that's pretty encouraging, that no matter what happens to you, that you should get back on your feet and have hope.
It gives them joy. When you volunteer and reach out to others, it brings happiness in our heart. We are here to give you something. Just our help. It's not a big help, but sign for our support. We care about you all.
I really thank you guys because, I mean, you are really good people, because we haven't had anybody to actually walk the neighborhoods and, you know, are you okay? Do you need anything? But I think this really meant a lot to me. You know, it may not mean a lot to others, but it meant a lot to me, you know, for somebody to actually show you that they care.
That helps a whole lot, and it really helps your mind frame and your state of mind of just knowing that other people out there know about the situation and care about the situation.
Something I've never seen before. They came in like bees. They swept the whole place. It was great. Guys, y'all came in quick and swept through here like a windmill. Cleaned it up really good. As you can see. I mean, it's a 6,000 square foot building. And cleaned it up in like an hour. Everything was up.
Well, we hope that the people that we've reached out to will see our efforts and you know, maybe come visit us at church and receive the word of, you know, not just be provided for their physical needs, but be provided for by their spiritual needs as well.
Because the Bible says, whenever you possibly can, what should we do, beloved brethren? Do good. Question: are they in need at this particular time? Please answer. So what is our responsibility as Christians? Do good.
On the streets of Louisiana and in so many towns across the world, when a disaster hits, the first people we see are the first responders, police officers, fire department personnel, emergency medical technicians, and paramedics. And when we come back, we'll see how the INCGiving Project has thanked them for their efforts. Stay tuned. The local congregation of Anaheim, California sits across a massive government building, the Anaheim Police Department. Now, over the years, members of the Church of Christ in Anaheim and the police officers across the street have developed a relationship. So alongside the rest of Southwest California, a series of police and firefighter appreciation events were held. But what the Church of Christ in Anaheim never expected was for the police department in Anaheim to appreciate them in return.
Police department and the hardworking officers that are here every single day, especially Sergeant Ben Starkey that put this together. It really goes beyond words. Really, thank you.
True gratitude is showing appreciation without expecting anything in return. Not too long ago, congregations of the Iglesia Ni Cristo sponsored appreciation events for law enforcement officials. Let's take a look back at how brethren expressed their thanks. Located just across the street from the chapel on Harbor Boulevard is the Anaheim Police Department headquarters. Officers stationed here gladly accepted the brethren's invitation to take a break from their busy schedules for an evening of lighthearted fun and good company.
I want to thank them again for stopping by. We do appreciate your time and keeping our community safe, and thank you again. Let's give them a big round of applause.
For the Iglesia Ni Cristo brethren in Anaheim, simply expressing their appreciation was the reward. Several weeks have passed since the Appreciation Day in Anaheim. Little do the brethren know that the police officers have prepared a special surprise for them.
To basically a thank you. Those that helped on that wonderful night know that we came from an incident that was just up the street. For the officers to come down here and feel so much love. It was one where I got to sit and talk with like 3 or 4 ladies that could have been my mom or my grandmother. I talked with an Olympian, I talked with a federal agent, and I talked with a whole slew of small little children that were so excited just to be able to talk with a police officer. You guys went above and beyond what anybody or any organization has ever done for the officers that are working on the street.
Some of the police officers came into our worship service and offer a nice certificate from their department to also express their appreciation for the same, for the event that we held for them.
The biggest
thing that I took away afterwards is that even when guys went back to the station, they're finishing up their paperwork, they're changing, they're getting ready to go home and spend time with their real families, they were still commenting on how wonderful it made them feel to be able to share a small meal or a really great meal with people that stay right across the street.
I've noticed that with this church, you guys have a huge outreach towards the you guys have made it a point to reach out with the community and work with the city and the department and your community, which is awesome. We need more churches and more people like that to do that.
We were so overwhelmed with just the open acceptance and the true love that we felt while just spending a couple of hours with folks from your congregation. Overall, probably one of the most positive experiences I've ever been involved with in my career in law enforcement.
What happened here today is proof that kindness never goes unnoticed. Instead, it can spark a cycle of love and appreciation for those who serve in the community and all those around us. Stay tuned on incmedia.org for more events sponsored by the INCGiving Project happening throughout the world. In Anaheim, California, I'm Len Cruz reporting for the INCGiving Show.
Whether to help with the immediate aftermath or to thank those who put their lives on the line to protect others in a community's toughest moment, the Church of Christ, through the INCGiving Project, has made the commitment to stand with their neighbors, no matter what. We leave you now with this humble appreciation made by volunteers in the Southern Midwest to show their local fire department. Remember, whenever you possibly can, do good to those who need it. Thank you for joining us today on INCGiving. I'm Lois Paula.
Contrary to popular belief, firefighters don't just wait around for fires to happen. Houston firefighters work 24-hour shifts, go under extensive training, and save lives. Rafael Gutierrez is ready for anything.
So, as I show you the condom tool, that's a 2-in-1. So
He's a first responder at the Houston Fire Department.
It feels good to give back to the community, regardless of what situation they're in. I mean, I like helping people.
The members of the Church of Christ held a Fire Station Appreciation Day. The locale congregation of Houston, Texas visited the nearby fire station. They gave recognition and gift baskets.
We want to acknowledge you guys for supervising and providing safety in our community. It was really good because it showed the love of the brotherhood for the community.
Oh my God.
Just as the fire department saves lives, the members of the Church of Christ are doing their part by extending their brotherly love to the members of the community.
Wow.
Thank you,